Good evening and welcome. This is Brew number 14 and we're on episode 2. And today we're going to have a look at a number of different things. First of all, we're going to revisit that hydrometer reading from the end of the first episode. We're going to have a look at various fermentation stages. We're going to do some flavouring in secondary. So lots to think about. But let's start with this, the hydrometer, and my little puzzle at the end of last time. What do you do when it's more than your hydrometer will measure? Effectively, this hydrometer has a range of around 0.990 all the way to 1.120. So I had to figure out what to do next. Now, I simply initially just calculated what that additional distance was going to be, and using that sort of hypothesis, and I'll come back to why that's a hypothesis, we've actually got an original gravity of 1.133. Now the problem with our hypothesis though is it's not necessarily going to be a linear scale, and in actual fact where the scale ends could be where the accuracy ends. So it's not actually valid to simply extrapolate in the way that I did. However, this is just an estimate, and for my purposes that was good enough. But I did have a look around to see how we solve this problem in reality should it come up again. And in actual fact, there's a wide range of hydrometer ranges that you can get. And actually that is the answer, that a more accurate set of hydrometers actually come as a set of 3. Each of the 3 with different ranges. And the third range, which would be the one that would probably be sort of in the region of what we would be looking for, is in the range 1.060 to 1.13, which is roughly where we ended up. There are also some normal hydrometers with a wider scale. I did find one that had the range 0.970 all the way to 1.150. So you can actually find something that will just extend a little bit further than the range that we've got here. Today we are going to rack the primary into a secondary vessel and also add some flavours. Starting slowly, but happening. Much more active. Going on in the bubbler. Starting to see a bit more fizz. Easy. Looking good. Still fizzy. A lot more foam on the top today compared to yesterday. Bubbler still about the same level of active. It does seem to have gone a lighter colour. Still plenty of bubbles. A little less activity in the airlock now. It's day 11. day 24. Here we are. We wouldn't expect it to be clearing yet, but you know, what we are seeing is a little bit of lees at the bottom. That seems fairly thin and fairly compact there, which sounds to me like a good thing. Into secondary, we are going to place 300 grams of dried apple, well, technically slightly less because I've been nibbling on those, a cinnamon stick, this time some new fresh cinnamon that does smell fantastic. So after my failed spiced apple wine, I have high hopes for this baby. And finally, we're going to add some orange peel granules, so 5 grams of them. Now, placing all those flavourings into a demijohn wasn't going to work through that neck, so I needed an alternative solution. And that solution is this. It's a 5-litre bucket, fermentation bucket, and I'm just going to give this a try. I am going to try and lay my hands on a wide neck fermenter, but at the moment they all seem extortionately expensive or out of stock, so I can just play the waiting game. And in the meantime, we're going to give this a try. Our first step is racking. So first up is our hydrometer reading. No, that's not low enough. Based on that hydrometer reading, I'm going to make 2 changes. First of all, in addition to the flavourings, I'm going to add some fermento. I didn't have any yeast nutrient the first time around, and so this time I'm going to add 6 grams in. I've also got my 5 grams of orange peel, and in my bag we've got the 300 grams of dried apple and the cinnamon stick. I'm figuring this is fairly heavy. I reckon that's heavy enough. I'm now adding an entire cutlery set into this recipe. Gee, this time I'm also adding the kitchen sink. There was a recipe option to add some non-fermentable sugar at this stage, but given how sweet this is likely to be, given the gravity, I'm not going to do that. So I am going to seal this back up. This has 3 weeks in this stage, and we're just not going to have a lot to see because we can't see through. So never mind. We will be back in 3 weeks to take a look and recover my kitchen sink and half my cutlery and see how this is getting on. Yeah, the lees really was quite tightly packed. It's sort of not coming straight out like it normally does.